All right, y'all. I am about to go live on Instagram, so give me a minute. Trying to make sure this all works. All right. Boom. All right. I'm live. Jeremy Affelt, Free Roam Brewing Company, Built for the Storm podcast. I'm back. I'm live. I'm going to start doing more. I've just got my studio set up. So as I look around, I got all these cameras everywhere. I'm trying to make sure I'm dialed into the right one, looking at the right one, etc. So I am testing it out. So we'll see how this goes. I tested it last week. It seemed like it was fine. I'm going to do it again. And I am way behind. I am way behind on podcasts right now as it is. So I owe a lot of people some podcasts. So we're about to have extra guests on. I'll figure out a way to bring Contos on again, of course. But I'm gonna start bringing more guests on. We're gonna talk baseball. I'm gonna bring some other guests on my other podcast, which is also called Built for the Storm. It'll be on more on life scenarios. So I am super excited to get this thing going again. So happy holidays to y'all. It's November. To me, it's Christmas. Once November hits, I decorate. My brewery's decorating Christmas festivities. I'm sure my staff thinks I'm weird because I had them all here decorating for the holidays. But I love the holidays. I love Thanksgiving. I love the hang time. I love Christmas. I know it's chaotic. Some people don't love Christmas or holidays because it's so chaotic, but I do. The brewery is very, very crazy this time of year, and the reason it's crazy is because everybody's getting together. They're talking. They're hanging out. Talking with friends and family. They're catching up. It's just a great time for me this time of year. So, and then Thanksgiving, my wife and I do not have our two others, Logan or Colt. We don't have our youngest sons. We have Walker. So Walker and I and my beautiful wife, Candace, we're going to be opening up the brewery. We're going to have Friendsgiving here. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're preparing for that, but I do owe podcasts. So we're going to start doing those. Well, I'm going to talk Giants baseball. I want to talk about the offseason, obviously some of the new hires. It's going to be awesome. But first, I'm going to do a shameless plug. Y'all know Built for the Storm just came out, just launched. I'm super excited for this book. It's obviously the name of the podcast for a reason. Obviously, I want everybody to know that you are built for the storm. We are built for the storm. Businesses are built for the storm. We've got this. And in the book, I talk about my story. A lot of it has to do with some of the craziness that I went through about 5 years ago to the reason why Free Roam was built, the message behind it, the reason why we have hopheads. We got a hophead here. I'm even on my back wall here. We got a hophead. That is our logo. Obviously, it's on my shirts here. On the book, we've got the Buffalo mentality on the book. So we are super excited for this book. I do talk about other things, not just my story from 5 years ago, but it is life. In looking back, in understanding what the Built for the Storm means, understanding what the Buffalo mentality is, what it's about. I get to talk about how, man, my whole life, I feel like I've been a Buffalo, and I did not realize what it was until about 5 years ago. And I started figuring it out, and I'm super excited to talk about it. I talk about some of the Game 7 stuff in the World Series in 2014, some of the scenarios that I went through. There is some fun stuff in there, but there is real life stuff, man. And I get raw, I get real, and I'm super excited for it. You can go to jeremyaffelt.com, click on books, go to the book, Built for the Storm. And it sends you over to the link to buy the book. I sign every book when it comes in. I personally sign. I mean, you'll see whenever an order comes in, this is what it looks like. I will personally sign that book. I personally sign everything on the book, and I sign it for you. We send it out to you. So I will sign every book that comes in. jeremyaffelt.com. Go to the menu, click on books, buy the book, go to the website, buy it. We got t-shirts on there. We got obviously the book. We've got the t-shirt that says every storm runs out of rain, because I truly believe no matter what storm comes at you, no matter how harsh it is, you charge that storm. And the fun thing is you can turn around, you can watch that storm run out of rain, and there'll be sunlight and you'll bask in it. So we're super excited for this. And you are built for it. And I'm super excited to tell you that. I mean, I'm really wanting you to read it. It is on Audible. It is an Audible book. I actually read the book, so it comes directly from my mouth, and I wanted to do that because I feel like when a story of this magnitude comes out, and the truth, the truths that I want everybody to understand and to get from this book, I want you to hear it from me. So I took the time to read this book, and I'm super excited for it. So I'm pretty pumped about that. But let's talk Giants baseball. All right, Giants baseball. Let's talk about it. All right, we got a new manager, Vitello. I'm actually super excited for him, but I've got my doubts. Right? No, I'm not going to do the whole Madden thing where where it's like it's super insulting, but good luck. No, that's not what it's all about. Everybody has doubts about managers. Everybody, when you bring them in, can they handle the culture? Can they get them on a winning track? Can they get the trust of the guys? How are they going to do it? There's always those things. Those are the same doubts. So the initial thought process for me was originally when I heard he was in the mix, I'm like, he might be in the mix, but I don't see necessarily the hiring of a really good manager at a really good level of college baseball coming in and managing a big league team. So when he got the job, my initial thoughts were not necessarily bad move. I don't think Buster, knowing him, I think he takes risks. I don't think he's afraid to take a risk. I think they're educated risks. I think they are calculated risks. I think that he thought about the risk. It's not like he hasn't thought about, oh my goodness, if I hire this manager, he's coming from college. That's a huge jump. He didn't even understand the minor leagues. He hasn't even gone through the minor league managing season. He only manages, 50, 60 games a year. How's he going to manage 162 games a year? You don't think he thought of all that? He thought all that. He knows the risk. So does the manager. One of the things that I realized Mr. Vitello said in his meeting, when he did his media meeting, was he said, I understand the risks and I'm willing to take on that risk. That's Buffalo mentality to me. That's being built for the storm. That's what hooked me, was he was willing to say, I know the risk. I'm willing to take that risk. I'm willing to take that risk head on. That turned the table for me a little bit when it came to understanding his way of thinking. So I appreciate it. I do think I also read his most recent, some of his most recent scenarios when he heard about, what did he say here? I'm going to grab my phone. It was pretty funny when Madden went out and said it. I probably lost it. But anyhow, he heard what he said and he goes, man, I'm just hoping he still takes my call. He goes, so I used a lot of his examples in my recruiting. I respected him as a manager. And so I appreciate the response that he gave in that, of him saying, I understand what he's trying to say, but I'm hoping he still takes my call because I still want to reach out for advice. Because now you're talking about not a guy that comes in thinking he knows how to do it. He knows everything he needs to know. And he knows that he took a huge jump to get to the big leagues, but he thinks he's already figured it out. He had said, no, I will be willing to take advice. I'll be willing to ask around. I'll be willing to run that gauntlet. I'll be willing to have some people advise me and help me understand what's happening. But I believe I have the talent. I believe I have the skill set. I believe I have the leadership capabilities to do it. I just need some help in getting my feet wet and get going. I loved it. I loved his response on that. That bought me in a little bit more. Bochy living in Nashville, living in an area, mentoring him. That was a big pull. This guy coming in, because my biggest question, my biggest thought is, how do you handling a player that's, say, a junior in college is way different than looking at a $30 million player and telling him what to do. It's going to be a different scenario. It really will be, because these are now grown men. They got freaking kids. They got a mortgage. They got all kinds of stuff going on. They got responsibilities. It is their job, but they're like little businesses, and it's their business, their body, their style, their skill set. That's their skill. That's their business. And so when a manager comes in and starts telling you certain things or trying to demand certain things, that's really hard to do if they don't trust you. It's not the same as a college situation. It's not the same as, you can't get in their face and intimidate them and all this stuff and get them going. That player is not going to be intimidated by that. So that to me is going to be an interesting situation. How can he, because he's got 2 months of the offseason, 3 months of the offseason to get to these players in the leadership on this team. Get to the veterans of these players, to sit with them and convince them to trust him. Because if you can get the veterans to trust you, you'll get the rest of the team. And I think there has been a lot of veteran players that have come out that have either played under him or against him or know him or have played with him. They know his personality. He obviously already has some traction going in. A lot of these players, there's several players in the organization that have played under him. They, like I said, Buster didn't do just a risk. He did a calculated risk. There is understanding of what's going on. There is that skill set there. There is that shift. You have to be willing. And the reason why I don't agree with Madden's deal of like, hey, it's insulting because back in my day, I got to be a scout in 1981, and then I had to go through the minor leagues. It took me 20 plus years to become a manager at the big league level and had to run the gauntlet. I agree with that. But it's been happening for players for years. You're telling me like a John Olerud who spent hardly any time in the minor leagues, or an Alex Rodriguez, or these kids now like Skeens and all these guys that spend months in the minor leagues, not even years, they go right to the big leagues. And they say, well, they have the skill set, they should do it. Yeah, they do. But I'm not out there saying it's insulting because I had to go through, and I'm not going to say I went through a long time. I went 4 years in the minor leagues before I got to the big leagues, but I still had to run the levels, rookie ball, A ball. I'd take the bus trips. I had to ride on these buses for hours upon hours upon hours, 12, 14-hour bus rides. Then I went to high A ball, and then I went to double A in the Texas League where I was playing in Wichita, having to drive all the way to freaking San Antonio to play baseball, or Midland. Or, I mean, these bus rides were brutal. They were brutal. And I didn't say, well, you know what? It's insulting that they get to the big leagues because why didn't they have to go through the gauntlet? If the talent's there, the talent's there. And sometimes you don't know how things go until you learn to do it. Culture changes. The game changes. I'm not saying it's going to work out. I'm not saying it's not going to work out. I'm just saying it's not insulting. It's a guy went out there and he said, I feel like that I can lead and I have the skill set to lead. And I feel like I know how to lead. So how do I lead at a college level or a big league level? If you have the leadership skills and the personality skills and the skills that you can communicate with people, because the difference, in my opinion, and I've said this about Bochy, and this is why I'm glad he's there, because Bochy isn't just a guy that just Bochy isn't just a guy that goes out there and like just does it. He has to be a certain personality. That guy was trusted by that guy has been well respected since he's managing in San Diego. That guy's been well respected. He's a Hall of Fame manager. And I've said this. He didn't always handle things correctly. He's a human. But I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't always handle things correctly. Players don't always handle things correctly when it comes to him. There's a lot of things that didn't go right, but there's a lot of things that went unbelievably right. And the difference between that and the reason why I don't think it's insulting is because I do not believe a manager. I don't even think it's tough to do because we've classified these guys. Oh, he's a big league manager. He's a Hall of Fame manager. They say manager. Well, managers, we don't manage things. And that's the difference. I think the difference between a baseball manager is they're not managing things. They're not looking at P&Ls. They're not looking at spreadsheets. They're not trying to figure out bottom line numbers. They manage people. And I don't think you manage people. I think you lead people. They're big league leaders. That's what they are. So if you have a leadership skill and you can lead men, that goes a long way for me. I understand that some of my fear is he's going from college to the big leagues. That is a big jump. And I understand where Madden's coming from when it comes to hasn't run the gauntlet. He hasn't gone through the stages. He hasn't understood it. I can understand that to a point, but this is not a player that's retiring from playing the game, starting to manage. So he has to go through the minor leagues, A ball, double A, triple A, manage at those levels. This guy has been a manager at the college level and a very well-respected manager at the college level. Todd Helton, on the freaking Hall of Fame speech, called this guy out and said he's one of the best managers he's ever seen. That's a Hall of Famer back in a speech. He dropped that guy's name. Obviously, you go look at a Hall of Famer like Todd Helton, he's going to know. He's going to understand it. He lives over there. He was a part of that baseball scenario for a long time. Playing when he was retired, he was a part of it after he retired. He has an understanding. So you name that guy in a Hall of Fame speech, and you're going to tell me that this guy doesn't know how to lead men? There's enough there. There is enough there that says he can lead men. So for me, it's just his style of leadership. How does he lead men? How is he going to lead men? But how is he going to lead them quickly? He does not have time. He doesn't have these guys under a scholarship where they have to be like, hey, man, you're on a scholarship. I can let you go if you don't respect me. He's got guys under contract that the only way they get let go is if they don't perform or if they do something dumb, and Buster signs off on it and says, we're releasing you. He doesn't have that power now. He's got his guys on his roster. He's got influence. He's got feedback. Guys are going to make the team. Some guys he has no say over. They are on the team. Figure out how to plug them in. How are you going to lead them? How are you going to get them get them to where they trust you? Roberts for the Dodgers has been leading men for years. Everybody, dude, I'm tired of the Dodgers winning. I'm a Giants guy. I get it. But the fact of the matter is the guy for years has literally had these guys wanting to play for him. He leads men. He has leadership skills. And, I know you got all these people say, well, now there's analytics, and they tell the manager who should play. But the Dodgers have had a deep lineup for 10, 12 years. These guys have had lineups where they've had 7 starting pitchers and not all of them get to start. They've had secondary players on the bench that would start for any other team in the big leagues. He has to try to figure out how to get them in, but trust the fact that trust us. We're about winning. Trust the fact that I'm going to pull for you. I'm going to lead. I know which guys I'm going to take in and take out, and I'm going to deal with the analytic guys, and we're going to figure this out. You got to get trust when you got all these guys. He's been doing it. This guy can do the same thing. He's got to do it right, but he can do it. Can it be done? Absolutely. Will it change culture? Will it change how people look at baseball? 100%. I do not believe that a guy that's never played the game should be able to manage. Not never played that at big league level. I'm just saying I want guys that have actually, I don't want just statistic guys coming in and running a team. So I like how baseball is going right now. It's somewhat of a risk who they're hiring, but I like how they're hiring in the sense that they've been a part of the game. They've played it. They have been a part of it at the college level, minor league level, big league level. They still have played it. That to me goes a long way. You're seeing the Padres hiring a pitcher, a young Stammen, who is a pitcher in the big leagues. It made him a manager. A pitcher. Some people say, you know what? It takes a special kind of pitcher to know how to manage a team. You got to manage all levels of it. You got to understand everything about it. That's why you see a lot of catchers, long-time position players that have been active in the game, whether hitting or fielding. Understand, Dusty Baker being an unbelievable outfielder, hitter, understands all facets of the game, what pitchers are trying to do, how they're trying to run scenarios. A lot of catchers in the big leagues because they have to control everything. With a pitcher, with a running game, to how guys are doing strategy, to why you're doing certain things. I like catchers as managers, but this is how it's going down. But they're hiring, and it's a little different, and it's changing over. And to me, I feel like it's okay. It's okay to change culture. It's okay to be a little bit different right now because of how the game is. And if I'm Buster, which I'm not, and I'm not going to put words in his mouth, but I'm just saying how I see it. I see that Buster just said, hey, man, we're going to wake this thing up a little bit. We're going to wake this thing up, and we're going to be like, we're going to throw a little wrench in it. We're going to shock the baseball world a little bit. But maybe that little bit of fire that this guy carries, he carries that rah-rah fire. That didn't go a long way with me necessarily. I don't need a rah-rah guy. We had rah-rah guys on the team. That was a big part of it. Hunter Pence, Pablo Sandoval, big rah-rah guys. Loved it. That just wasn't my personality. I like to have fun. I kind of got focused. If I got too much energy, some of you see me pitch. If I came out all full of crazy eyes and I'd throw the ball all over the place. Buster would have taken a lot more bounces off the home plate or 40-foot fastballs, right? So I needed to be calm. I didn't need a rah-rah guy to get me going. Some guys do. But managers, sometimes you need that fire. You need that fire. And maybe Buster's looking at like, I need someone to bring some fire, some energy, create that winning energy that's not so laid back. Most of the old school managers, which I like, some of them are laid back, some of them have fire. They just had respect in the game. That's another concern. Is the fact of the matter, the elephant in the room for me that maybe people will talk about, maybe they won't, is when he gets fired up and he goes up to an umpire and starts getting fired up and mad. And the first thing I would probably assume umpires are going to say is, who are you? Who are you? What have you done in this game? He's going to have to not just earn the respect of the players on the team. He has to fight to earn the respect of the umpires. He has to earn their respect. He's got to be able to say stuff, call people out, get on them, where they give respect to him, where they listen to him. Where that he's allowed to address the situation, and these guys will take it in rather than shoo them off. And I've seen it at the big league level. I've seen umpires shoo off managers, even players, young players that became a manager. I've heard it. I've heard them say, "Who are you? Get out of here. You've done nothing." It's going to be tough. Can it be done? Yes. Does it have to be done right? Absolutely. Is it going to be an uphill climb? Yeah. Is it going to be a storm that guy has to take on? 100%. Do I think he can charge it? Yes, I do. I think he has that energy. He has that personality. And some of the way I've seen him quote things, talk about things, say things, respond to things, pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good responses, which tells me he can mentally handle it. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping I get to go into spring training like I did last year and hang out with these guys. I'd love to hang out with him just to kind of pick his brain and go over it. You know, I think it'd be great to get to know him, to have a better perspective on who he is, to be able to relay some of these messages. But I do feel it, he can do it. And I don't think he's listening to this. And I don't know if I don't think the Giants are listening. I doubt Buster. Buster hears me talk all the time. He probably mutes me. Even if he does watch it, he probably turns it off real quick. But only thing is, man, I'm proud you're in the organization. I'm thankful you're in the organization. If Buster hired you and trusts you to lead on the field, I trust you. And I think you can do it, man. I really do. I think you can do it. I think if you listen to the people that are surrounding you, you will go a long way. You've got a Hall of Fame manager in Bruce Bochy, a Hall of Fame manager. This guy is literally a leader of men. He knows how to win. He knows how to play the game of chess. He knows how the strategy works. Listen to him. I know you will. I'm just encouraging you. I'm encouraging you to listen to him, because that guy understands not just how baseball works, Major League Baseball works, how a winning culture in Major League Baseball works. He understands San Francisco. He understands that culture and how the winning ways of that culture work. And he understands how to earn the respect of players and umpires and the media, and to earn the respect of the people around him. He understands how to get players to play for him. He gets it. He gets it. So I encourage you to keep him, man, right on your freaking left or right side. Put him in that foxhole with you, man, because that guy's going to take good care of you. He's going to help you. He's going to help you succeed. Listen to the veteran players. Listen to the guys that have played before these players that are no longer playing. They're retired, but they have influence for the Giants. Listen to them. Listen to the Will Clarks, man. Listen to those guys, because those guys are unbelievable. JT Snows, the guys that come in, they come around the players and they want to develop them. Listen to those guys that have played at that level in a Giants uniform, in a winning atmosphere, because that's going to be super important. Because I think you can gain the respect of all these players. I think they can follow your lead. I think they want to follow your lead. You just got to earn that respect, and I think you got it, man. I really do. You got with Bochy, I think it was a great deal. I'm glad Buster reached out to him. I'm glad Bochy decided to come back to that culture. We've missed him. I think you'll see some influence. I think I do think he's got a lot left, and he's got a lot of advice to give. So I'm super proud that Buster has brought him back. I think it's going to be a big deal for everybody in the front office, to the coaches, to the players, that whole culture all the way down. It is super awesome. Buster has done a really good job of returning some of that culture back to the team. He grew up in some of that stuff where we had Willie Mays and Willie McCovey, and we had Gaylord Perry. We had all these, Vita Blue, guys that would come and hang out with us in the clubhouse and tell stories. Buster was a part of that. Buster was a part when Will Clark and JT Snow and Jeff Kent would come in and help coach the guys on the team. And Rob Nen would come with the pitchers and come back and hang out. And he'd have all those guys. Richie Aurelia would come in. Like, all these guys would come in and hang out with us. So Buster knows what he's doing. He's bringing guys back. So bringing the Bochis back, bringing some of us players back. I think last year, Vogie, Javi, myself, Hunter, Pablo, Romo, those guys all came in and hung out. They all came in and hung out with the players, because it's super important. And we're not there to get a pat on the back, but we are there, and we're confidently there to say we know how to win. We've done it. And we didn't do it once. We didn't do it twice. We did it 3 times. And we know how to win, and we know what it needs to be done, and we know the grit that we got to come in, and we know the fire that we had to have, and we know the back down, the sense of like, no, we do not care who you are, we will beat you. That mentality is what you need. And so that culture, bringing these guys back, and we competed at different levels in that sense. We didn't all have the same personalities, but we still had fire, man. We still wanted to compete. We still wanted to win. And so he brought us all back in. So I'm so thankful he's done that. Javi Lopez just got hired, I believe, as an advisor for the Giants. Great move on Buster's part. That guy, we called him the professor. He was the guy that was like, he was always level. He was always low. He was like steady. He would go out there. He's clean cut, handle himself with professionalism, with class. Face had some of the biggest outs in Giants history, and he did it well. To bring that guy back in to advise or hang with some of the players, man, that's super important, especially with the mental side of the game. He was very good with that. He was very good at understanding controllables versus uncontrollables. He was very good at routine. He was very good at just how to understand the game in big situations and to stay calm. He got all of it. So he's a brilliant move by Buster in that way, in that regards as well. I'm super proud of these moves, man. I really am. And I think that Buster is just trying to do what he can to bring a culture, a winning culture, and he's willing to shake it up, which I like. I like that about Buster. And he does it professionally. Who he's going to get in the offseason, I have no idea. I know they need a starting. I know they need 1 or 2 starting pitchers. I know they need a bullpen, and then I know they need some position players. They probably need they got some good core guys, but there are guys that need to happen. And I do truly believe that in the end, it will come down to a bullpen. If you watch the World Series this year, it comes down to the bullpen. It comes down to sealing up a game when it should be sealed up, making big pitches when you need to make the big pitch, not giving up the homer when you don't need to give up the homer, understanding how to do that. It comes down to that. Bullpens will save you. Getting a good solid bullpen. The Giants had a good one last year for most of the year. He's got some holes to fill. I think he needs a bona fide closer. I think he needs to go out and get a guy that is literally his job, and he does it well. And when he comes into the game, that's my guy, period. You can have a bunch of supporting cast, but I do think you need that guy that he is the closer. The mentality is there. I do believe that. I do think you need one more starter to anchor that rotation. If you can have 3 main starters, I think you're fine. Your 4 and 5 guys can just be guys that are learning or still coming up or still making their way, that can move into that 3-2-1 or 1-2-3 starter. I do believe that he needs one of those as well. And I do think you got to have one more position player. I think you need another big bat in there. I do think that the guys that he had, I think Chapman's going to come back healthy. I think the guys that early in that lineup, I think those guys are going to get settled in and they're going to be ready. I'm looking forward to a Giants season if some of these holes get filled, and I know they have to figure it out and they got to do it strategically. They got budgets to stay in or whatever, but I think that we have to figure out a way to unseat the Dodgers because this is just enough. And everybody's close, man. The Padres are knocking on the door. The Giants had it for a while and just kind of fell off. They had a really tough stretch at a really bad time. I think Arizona's knocking on the door. I think Colorado's a long way off. But we've got a pretty good division, and I think it can be a division like the AL East, where you had Toronto, New York, and Boston all in the playoffs. I think that situation can come into play next year as well too, if played out right. I know everybody likes to be like, oh, every offseason people try to convince on why the Giants are good and they're going to go to the playoffs. That's true. I think that is what happens, but I think this situation has a lot of upside. I think the new manager is going to bring a lot of energy. I think Bochy is going to bring a lot of advice and help with that energy and help this man lead men. I think bringing in special advisors that have been around the game, that have been in the game, and have been in a Giants uniform is super important. I think that leadership's important with the players, and giving them more access to the players is going to be very, very important, especially when it comes to culture. And I think getting some key players, I think that the formula is there. The opportunity is there, is whether they take advantage of it. And in the end, not Buster, not our GM, not our manager, not our special advisors, not any of the new coaches that he's bringing in. The players have to do the job. The players have to get it done. The players have to execute what they're being paid to execute. And it's not going to happen every time, but they need to do it pretty consistently. That's when the game changes. And that's when the Giants will get back to their culture of winning and winning a lot. And it's a beautiful ballpark. It's a beautiful city. And so I'm super excited for this year. So that's my rant. I only went 30 minutes, and I get it, but I can only rant so much before you guys want to turn me off. But again, don't forget, man, Built for the Storm podcast is what we're on. Book Built for the Storm. Boom. I'm going to put it right there. Built for the Storm. Okay. I want this book, and I'm going to keep pushing it because I believe in the story, because it's my story. And I believe it can help a lot of people. I really, truly do, because it is inevitable. Storms are inevitable in every walk of life, and in every area of life. You either bring the storm on yourself or someone brings it on upon you, but they're going to happen. And people wonder all the time. That's why we have mental scenarios. And I'm not built for it. I can't handle it. I'm not made for this. You are made for it. You are built for it. We're resilient. We're built to go through storms. We're built to charge those storms. We're built like a buffalo. We are a buffalo mentality. That's what we are. You can get through it. You need a herd of people around you sometimes. That's what this is all about. You need to go as a herd. But man, you are built for it, and you will get through it. And I really hope you guys pick up this book. I'm super excited for it. I will be back on more often. Hopefully this podcast worked out, because then I'll really be confident in being back on more often. But I love these little rants. I will bring some other guys on where we can get some other dialogue, because right now this is just my opinion and no one's combating it. That's not fair. I'd rather have somebody either agree with me or combat me, and we get in a little bit of a friction dialogue. I love those as well. But we will be back, Built for the Storm, next week. I'm looking forward to it. I'll be on with I'm going to be on with Kuiper, and I believe I'm going to be on. Sorry, I've got a lot of these going on. So I've got Kuiper next week. I've got Glenn Kuiper. Oh, I got Tolbert, my boy Tolbert, man. I got Tolbert on. I'm going to be on with those guys. Look forward to chatting with those guys on certain things, and also pushing the book, talking a little more about it. Look forward to seeing more of you. Talk to y'all soon. Thanks for watching. And I'm going to turn off the podcast now. I'm just going to be live for a little bit until I know how to do it. So I'm going to look dumb, but it's going to be it'll be okay.